everyone, my name is Sandra. Welcome back to my channel. So again, as you can see, I'm filming outside because it's just such a beautiful day out here, and I try to get outside as much as I can and take advantage of the nice weather because I live in Alberta, Canada, and we don't have the best weather all the time. Today I want to talk about personal development, and to do that, I want to introduce you to another YouTuber that I have recently been loving and just like binge watching every single video that she has. Her name is Louise Henry, and I believe she is also Canadian, but she has moved to Panama, which is so cool. I think that the fact that she has an online business and making her able to work remotely from anywhere she wants to work is so cool. And myself, I'm at the stage of my life where there's birds everywhere. I'm at the stage of my life where I already have two kids and I've got a family, and I'm pretty stationary where I'm at, so I can't really move around the world or travel right now. But I think that the whole point of having an online business and being able to work from anywhere is really cool. You can work from home, you don't have to have an office, and you don't have to work for anybody but yourself. So in saying that, the reason why I want to talk about this today is because since I've started my YouTube channel, and that's been about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, I basically have learned so much. And I learned that there is a growth curve to basically every new technology you teach yourself, not even just technology, but the longer you do stuff for your online business for yourself, the more you learn about yourself as well. And I really think it's important to self-growth and personal development. And what I want to talk to you today really does tie in to online business, not even online business, but basically any type of business that is your own. So, my mother-in-law, for instance, she started as a seamstress and now she has a quilting shop of her own in Mundare, Alberta. And a lot of the things that she learned over the years basically came from her hobbies and what she loved to do, and also interacting with people who also love to do that. And so now, in a world where we live mostly online, especially now during these times during the pandemic, a lot of what we do is online and we don't get much interaction between one another. I think technology has become more important than ever. So in saying that, I want to reference a video that I recently watched by Louise Henry. She called it 14 Truths About Online Business. And I think I've watched that video honestly 3 or 4 times. And she had kind of like some notes about all of the things that you learn when you do an online business. So when you have your business, there are so many things that you need to grow in order to be successful at what you're doing. And I'm going to go through a few of these. So I'm going to list them on the screen just so you guys have an idea of what we're going to be talking about today. But I'm going to also talk about it in relation to how it affects me. And I have been posting a few YouTube videos recently. So I started by talking about my own personal journey here on YouTube. That was 0 to 700 subscribers. And then my second video was how to start your own YouTube channel. And I think it's important to talk about this because people are more, I guess, apt to start a YouTube channel today than ever before because the access entry is pretty easy. I think it was Louise Henry too who said that the ability to just start something online, whether it be a YouTube, which is still a business, or something else in online business, it's really easy because the fees are low and it's just really easy to get started. So in saying that, having an online business is also very time consuming, and it also takes a long time to get started. The first one being sales. If you're selling a physical or digital product, you have to be on top of your sales if you want to be successful. So I'm coming from a point where I just started my business selling stickers. So I do sell a physical product, but not in person. It is only online, and I haven't had the ability yet to track my sales from a previous year because I just started. I don't have any analytics to track, but for selling, first of all, you need to create whatever product it is you are going to sell. Then you need to create some kind of platform where you can show what your product is all about. So that could be using social media, that could be a website. And if you do use a website, I personally use Squarespace. This video is not in any way endorsed or anything like that, but I really like it. I find it really easy to use. And the main point with selling anything online is it takes time to get set up. So if you create a website, even if you get someone else to do the work for you, it is time consuming. It costs money. You still have to pay for it every month, and it takes time and effort to build your website, especially from scratch. So I did start mine from scratch, and I am constantly changing it. So my website has only been up since November of 2020, but I have changed quite a few things already. And I think that websites probably need a change at least at once a year, if not more. But mine is always evolving because I add new pictures in my portfolio. And of course, I add new products because I add stickers all the time to my shop. The other thing with that is you do need to be able to deliver to your customers. So with regards to my business, once I make a sale, I have to make sure that that transaction goes through smoothly. And then I have to package up the product and send it to my customer and make sure that they receive it. So in my case, that could mean that I have to pay for tracking, postage that it can be tracked, or I have to follow up with an email, and just to make sure that the entire experience is smooth and an overall good one for my customers. Okay, the second thing I want to talk about is marketing. So basically, this is selling yourself and selling your business. So whether again that is a physical product, a digital product, even on YouTube, basically marketing is using whatever you have available to you to tell people about what you're doing. So in the old days, it was harder. You either had to go door to door. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but back in fundraising back in school, I literally had to walk door to door and ask people if they wanted to buy the products I was fundraising for. The other thing is word of mouth. So if you've got friends of friends and they tell friends, that really gets the ball going, as well as even phone calls to homes. People used to like call your house all the time, or even posting ads in the newspaper. So nowadays it's really easy because basically everything is online. You can have your own Google ads. You can just promote on Instagram. You can show pictures of what you're doing. You can talk about it on Instagram and Facebook groups. Even Pinterest is a great place to start. I personally I do have Pinterest, but I don't really promote my work on there as much. I probably should start. I usually do most of my stuff on Instagram or my Facebook, and I just advertise to my friends, family, and the general public, and talk about my YouTube channels and my sticker shop and my website and my blog. And so all of those things across all of the platforms are constantly being talked about, and I'm hoping that more people see my work. So another thing that I don't currently have but will try to get as I get more customers for my business is an email list. So there are a few platforms you can use. I believe one of them is MailChimp. And basically, all it is collecting your customers' email addresses and then following up with them by sending them an email, or just reminding them that, hey, you've got something in your basket, or even asking how satisfied they are with the recent purchase. A piece of advice I have for social media and advertising on social media is don't try to use all the platforms because you will wear yourself thin. I know that TikTok and Twitch are something now, and I haven't even started on either of those platforms. I heard that they are good for advertising, but I would wear myself too thin. I already have Facebook. I'm thinking of potentially starting a Facebook group, which in itself is a large maintenance project, and it does take time to maintain. And I also have Instagram. I've actually got 2 Instagram accounts, and it's just going to be a lot of work. So I choose to keep mine focused only on Instagram and Facebook, but you may want to choose another platform. So another thing that you need to think about is bookkeeping. So when you buy things for your online business, these are called expenses, and when you make money, you need a way to track it, and that's your business income. So honestly, in my experience, it is best to try to keep this separate from your personal income. So what I would do is either get a business account or just a separate checking account, and then you can attach a bookkeeping system like Wave, which is free, or QuickBooks, and anything going into or out of that one account will be tracked through QuickBooks, and then that way you can keep track of what money is coming in, what money is going out, and it will be that much easier at tax time when it comes time to pay your taxes. But what I would recommend at the very beginning, most likely you won't be making money right away, but you could technically track all of your expenses. And I would keep track of how much money you spend. So if you do end up making money in that year, you can use that money as a write-off, as an expense for your taxes. But again, if you have any questions, I am not a lawyer. I am not an accountant, so please get expert advice if you need it. So another thing that you want to think about when it comes to online business and personal development is money management. So money can be very scary. You either are not making enough or you're making too much and you need help to handle it. So money management, the one thing I would recommend is save at least 30% of any income that you make from your business, because you will have to pay your own taxes. Because you're now working for yourself, you don't have any business taking off an additional percentage of taxes like you would if you were to work for a coffee shop or McDonald's or something like that. So make sure you save at least 30%, and that will pay for taxes when the time comes. Okay, so tip number 5 is social media. So this kind of also goes into the marketing aspect of it, especially if you market online, and also the content creation process. So social media, again, we had discussed there's Twitter, there's Twitch, there's Facebook groups, Pinterest, Instagram, and YouTube, and I'm sure that there's other things as well, like email lists. So all of these social media aspects, these are things that you have to keep up with. So not only posting pictures of your products, also responding to comments, responding to questions, and maintaining your accounts. And this all takes time. Okay, number 6 is content creation. If you are an aspiring YouTuber, it takes time for the content creation process. This is another video that I want to create for you guys because I think people have unrealistic expectations of actually how much time goes into making any content, whether it's for Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. So it takes time, number 1, to get the idea. Like, where do you get your ideas from? How do you come up with endless content? And you need time to sit down and write out ideas. So the second thing is you need time to actually film the video. So if you have kids, you have to find a quiet place to try to film. If you have a busy family, again, you need to find a quiet place. You need to have that time, whether it takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, it doesn't really matter. And you need to also have the equipment. So whether that is a smartphone, a camera, you need to have good lighting. And also it does take time, and it can be kind of tiresome or bothersome even to take different shots and different angles. So for instance, it makes the video more visually pleasing to your viewers if you try to switch things up and just add in different shots, different scenery, anything that you can think of, but it is a lot more time consuming and the process can be harder. This is part of content creation, is the editing process. And I think for me personally, it was a big challenge for me when I first started. Editing probably took the longest time, and I just started on iMovie, and iMovie is one of the easier tools to use. I think I got so frustrated that I threw my pens around a few times, and I had to like take a break and just walk away and come back to it the next day because I just got so frustrated. And a good idea is to watch other people and get ideas of how to do things, but at the same time, the best way to become better at something is to practice it. Sit down and just play around with it. The same goes for being able to film at all and to be able to talk to your camera, because what I'm doing right now is not natural. So I'm basically pretending that my camera is a person sitting here and I'm trying to be personable to it, but it is very difficult to talk to your camera like it is a person. So all of these things do take time and they take a lot of practice, and you will get better. Another thing that Louise Henry was talking about was going live. So in her case, I'm pretty sure she meant launching like a product. So for instance, launching one of her online courses or launching a website even, but I want to talk about it in terms of creating video content. So this is something that is one of my goals for this year, and I haven't done it yet, is creating a live video stream. And I haven't done this on Instagram nor YouTube, and it scares the heck out of me, I'm not gonna lie. So I see a lot of other people that I personally watch, like for instance, Cindy Gunther Baldo does live videos, and the thing is, you have to be so careful what you say, first of all. Like I think that if you let something slip, you have to be very mindful of who could be watching. And I mean, if you mess up, you mess up, I guess. It doesn't really matter because whoever's watching will hopefully be forgiving and not be mean. But I think there's just a lot of pressure, and more pressure than when I'm doing a video like now, for instance, because I can go back to my computer and I can edit out my ums and my buts and my likes. and nobody will know that I've said all those things. But when you are filming live, you have no filter. You basically, it's like talking to an audience or talking to someone sitting beside you, except there might be thousands of people watching you, and that can be very unnerving. I think that there's a lot of pre-planning that goes into that. I think it would be a good idea to have some kind of outline to figure out what you're going to do, depending on what type of video you're making. Also, other than just having the guts to do a video like that, it is also much more time consuming. So whatever you're doing live on YouTube is in real time. So say for instance, you were creating a monthly bullet journal setup. Some of my setups have taken longer than 5 hours if it's like some kind of art painting print or something. So that is something that you have to think about when you're trying to do a live video. Okay, the next thing, I think this is number 8, is branding. So again, branding is something that for me kind of came over time. And also I do most of my branding in Canva, and I think it just kind of fell together, so to speak. So what I mean by that is I was looking at colors for my website, and there's a lot of things you can do within Squarespace, but Canva is actually a really good program to have. I believe you can also use Adobe Illustrator, but I was using my iPad for a while, so I was using Procreate in my iPad Pro, and there are different things that you can do. So for instance, what is your logo? Is your logo just your name? Is it the name of your YouTube channel, whatever that is going to be or whatever it is? And what colors are you going to pick? How are your pictures going to look if you have a website or on your social media? There's so many things you can do within Canva. It's basically a digital art creation. You can make whatever you want. And a lot of my future videos are going to include a lot more graphics. So it's a really handy tool, and I personally have Canva Pro. This video is not sponsored, but I really advise to have some kind of digital art tool that you can digitally change and like make pictures for, because it will help out your business so much. But that's the other thing, is that I haven't really dived into the complete aspect of Canva, so I still have a lot to learn myself. But a good tip is to watch other people who have used the same program and just learn from them, because why reinvent the wheel? You don't have to try to spend hours and hours doing something that somebody else has already figured out. So just watch other YouTubers, search it on the internet, and then watch a few videos, and then you can play around with it, and you will learn that much quicker. Okay, so here's another thing that isn't really physical task. I guess it kind of is, but it's putting yourself out there. So whether that be in marketing and trying to tell people about your sales, what you're doing online. So for me, for instance, putting myself out there is when I created business cards, and every time I go out to a brewery or even to the grocery store, whoever I talk to, they might comment on my makeup, they might comment on my bullet journal if I have it with me. And every time they say something, I always hand out my business card. And a lot of times I almost feel like I'm pushing whatever it is on people, and I don't want to be pushy, but I think that is one way for you to get your content out there, and by telling people, because they won't know unless you tell them. And so that can either be a video on YouTube, again, it can be any social media, or you can simply have business cards that you hand out to random people wherever you are. I know now it's harder because we don't go out as much and there are still places on lockdown, but when you can, make business cards. And I personally get mine from Vistaprint, and you just have to just hand out business cards, tell people what you do, and when they see the person behind the whole brand, I think that makes them feel even more connected to you, because once you get more noticed and you're monetized and you start getting subscribers and your business starts growing, that person will say, hey, I know them, I've met them in real life, which is super cool. Okay, so this is tip number 10, is something that I haven't had to experience yet. It's managing a team. So this is basically when your business grows beyond the boundary of just you. And by this, I mean when you get to a point where you find that you're struggling with how much work you have to do and you can't do it all by yourself anymore. You know that it's time to do what's called outsourcing. So whether this is hiring someone to edit videos for you, hiring people to help you film a particular video, and how do you pay them, and how would you communicate with them? So all of these things are things you have to think about when you're thinking of hiring somebody to help you with your business. For example, you can use email just to communicate back and forth. But sometimes if you actually have a person working for you, a project management tool like Asana or Trello are really handy as well. Tip number 11 is project management. So this is something that I'm just kind of starting to get into, and basically I feel like I have a ton of different projects. I've got 2 YouTube channels, I've got 2 Instagram channels to kind of, or Instagram accounts to kind of manage to promote my YouTube channels, and I have a sticker shop. So I have a lot of things going on. I also have a blog on my website, and basically, if I'm a huge pen and paper person, so I do have my notebooks. I've got planners. I have an Erin Condren planner. I also have my Happy Planner, which I Franken planned, and I have a bullet journal. And I keep other journals and notebooks as well. So it sounds like a lot, and I have a really good system to keep everything organized. But if you'd prefer to have everything online project management tool like Asana or Trello are really good to keep everything in one spot, everything organized. And if you prefer online to actual pen and paper, I would highly recommend either of them. Louise Henry talks a lot about Asana, and it's because you can visually see your work in list form. You can see it on boards, kind of like a Kanban board, which is kind of neat. And I think they're really cool. You can basically add anything and you can get apps. They can be on your phone, they can be on your computer, and it is pretty convenient to just add things, and you can also share it with different people. So for instance, I kind of use it like a Google Calendar really, and I can share information with my husband if he needs to know when I'm filming, and it's pretty convenient. The only thing is, when you first set it up, it is a little bit of a learning curve, and it's a lot of work to try to enter in all of the stuff that you need to work on, because number one, you have to assign it to somebody, like obviously myself, and then you also need to assign a date. And so this kind of plays into my goals. So there'll be a due date for the actual goal to be due, so to speak, and then there'll be assigned times to work on whatever task it is. So I guess the last thing I want to talk about, this is number 12, I believe, is systems. And I think that Louise Henry describes systems a bit different than I would probably talk about them. So I'm going to try to talk about it all together. So when I think of a system, it kind of feels like how everything comes together to work as one. So basically, if I do one thing, how is it going to affect something else? So for instance, Instagram helps me promote my YouTube channel, and my YouTube channel will help me promote my online sticker shop or my blog, because it'll be me talking about it and trying to market it to all of my viewers. Now basically, that's what I think about when I think of a system, because there's all different types of systems you can think about when it comes to your business. So one of the biggest ones is, how do you organize your business? So I've got a couple of systems I use. So first of all, I obviously have my notebook system, and I'm going to link my video for that because it's pretty popular, and I think that a lot of people want to know how everything works together. Like, how do you use your goal setting book? How do you use your planner? How do you use your bullet journal? And I love putting pen to paper because it gives me time to think about it. At the same time, in saying that, writing everything down does take a lot of time, and that could be valuable time I could be spending working on my actual business. So another tip that you could use is, again, an online project management system like Asana or Trello, and all you have to do is simply type into the board, and it's really quick and easy, and it saves you valuable time that you could be spending working on your business. So another system that I use is my filing system. I personally have a filing cabinet where I organize everything, including my business. I do have a separate area for that, but you might want to keep all of your files on your computer, and then you can upload them into the cloud so that they're always there, they'll never be lost, and it'll be super easy to find all of your files and share them with anybody that works for you. Another system is simply routines. So what do you do every day that's the same thing every morning? That is a system. So if you have that in your day, you'll become more productive, more organized, and it's just takes time to develop the original system. And then once you've got that done, it saves you time. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it gave you some inspiration and some ideas of all of the things involved that you need to learn if you have an online business. All of these things do help with personal development, and it's interesting because basically anything you learn helps you to grow, and it does change you as a person, and it helps you to figure out what truly is most important, and it also helps you to complete your goals. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, and remember to click on that bell button to be notified every time I upload a new video, and we'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye!